We now have the reason for this hearing. It has nothing to do with the oversight of DOJ. It has everything to do, as we found out this morning in a document dump from the Democratic side of this committee and also another committee, that this is nothing more than a character assassination. And we're going to also decide to see if we can just do something and get at the president while we're had the chance. Look forward into this hearing today. It's time on this one, if this is the way we're going to go, then we'll have plenty of stunts. We're going to have plenty of theatrics. Bring your popcorn. I'm thinking about maybe we just set up a popcorn machine in the back, because that's what this is becoming. It's becoming a show.
Now, in your capacity as acting attorney general, have you ever been asked to approve any request or action to be taken by the special counsel?
Mr. Chairman, I see that your 5 minutes is up, and so I'm here voluntarily. We have agreed to 5-minute rounds, and
the committee.
I think that's a fine place to end the 5-minute rule.
Mr. Chairman, may I have my time restored? I think it was at 4 minutes.
Yes, you may.
Thank you. Again, Mr. Attorney General, the question is, did you have a confirmation hearing, and has it been more than 10 years since you testified before Congress?
Congresswoman,
Can the clock be restored?
It was. I'm sorry, what was your, I don't know if your time's been restored or not.
Mr. Attorney General, we're not joking here, and your humor is not acceptable.
Dear Mr. President, you don't know me. I'm known on the internet as Black Conservative Patriot. I'm a citizen journalist, pundit, and political analyst. I voted for you, sir, and I even volunteered on your campaign in 2016. And I don't want to second guess you, and I don't want to tell you what to do. But if I were one of your advisors, and I'm not asking you to place me as one of your advisors, but I want to make this known in a public forum, that if I were one of your advisors, I would have advised you to forget Bill Barr and made Mr. Clean, Matt Whitaker, your nominee to replace Jeff Sessions permanently as Attorney General, because how he stood up to the dingy, dirty Democrats, exposed the deep state agenda, and played their game and made them look foolish, that was pure brilliance. And that is the kind of chutzpah I want to see from our Attorney General as you drain the swamp, take down the deep state, and bring back fairness and equity in enforcing the law. Sir, I know Bill Barr is probably going to be confirmed in the next week or so, and he's going to replace acting attorney Matt Whitaker, but please keep him on board, because he's just the kind of bulldog we need.
Thanks for joining us on the Black Conservative Patriot channel. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notifications bell so you don't miss a thing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Acting Attorney General, for being here. But I would like to thank, I'll start off with this way, and I also want to thank the chairman for a show of honesty. We now have the reason for this hearing. It has nothing to do with the oversight of DOJ.
All right, before I break down these next clips, I'm going to focus mostly on Sheila Jackson Lee, because I think her questioning of Whitaker was pretty much representative of how the Democrats approached this questioning. This was supposed to be an oversight hearing into what the Department of Justice is doing, but it quickly, even before today, with all the drama that was happening, whether Whitaker was going to answer questions about the Mueller investigation, etc., it was set up to be political theater before it even started. And I tried to find clips of the actual opening statements, but because the hearings are still going on and they're live, I cannot find his actual opening statement that Acting AG Matt Whitaker said. In his opening statement, he said, one, that he was not going to discuss his privileged conversations with the president. So what he did discuss, what he may have discussed, what he didn't discuss with the president is pretty much none of their business. Okay? He made those things very clear from the get-go, so that line of questioning was totally unnecessary. But lo and behold, the dirty, dingy Democrats, the puppets of the deep state and the shadow government, they still wanted to harangue him and harass him on this point that he very clearly stated in his opening statements he was not going to discuss, because there is executive privilege, He was not going to discuss the conversations he had with Trump. So it turns out, as we all can see, that this is not an oversight hearing. This is a way to try to publicly scrutinize Mr. Whitaker as proxy for our duly elected president, Donald Trump.
Yes, on Thursday, Bill Barr was approved out of the Senate Judiciary Committee. By next Thursday, he will be the Attorney General. This gentleman right here is finishing up the last term of acting Attorney General. He was willing to come, but yet we had the charade yesterday. This hearing is pointless.
So with that out of the way, let me get into this. I'm going to break down just the last bit of the exchange that he had with Nadler out of New York, and then get into Sheila Jackson Lee. There's a lot of material here. I can make 7 hours with the video, but I'm going to just break down this one part, and it'll give you a good idea of what transpired today.
Now, in your capacity as acting Attorney General, have you ever been asked to approve any request or action to be taken by the special counsel?
Mr. Chairman, I see that your 5 minutes is up, and so I'm here voluntarily. We have agreed to 5-minute rounds, and
the committee.
I think that's a fine place to end the 5-minute rule.
The committee will come to order. I will point out that we didn't enforce the 5-minute rule on acting Attorney General Whitaker. We will.
I understand, Mr. Chairman. I was just saying that might be a good breaking point at that point for you.
No, the Attorney General was in the middle of saying something. Answer the question, please.
Regular order.
Should I ask the question? Okay.
Yeah,
in your capacity
please
as
ask
acting,
the question.
let me just repeat the question so people remember what we're talking about. In your capacity as acting Attorney General, have you ever been asked to approve any request or action to be taken by the special counsel?
Mr. Chairman, I, as the acting Attorney General, I am under the special counsel's rules. I am the person that is ultimately in charge of the investigation, and I have exercised that authority under the special counsel's regulations of the Department of Justice.
And with the short time that I have, I want to make sure that your questions are answered in a yes or no matter.
Okay, I think Sheila Jackson Lee meant to ask or say that she wanted the questions answered in a yes or no manner, but that's just splitting hairs and semantics. But what she's trying to accomplish here is she's trying to not give acting AG Whitaker a voice. She wants to, and all the Democrats here, they want to paint a certain narrative, and they want to do that by asking questions and pinning him into yes or no answer when the answers are usually nuanced or need explanation or clarification. But up front, she's asking for yes or no because she wants to deny Whitaker, who is supposedly here for an oversight meeting and hearing, from explaining himself fully. But as you're going to see, this is going to backfire royally on I wear questionable jewelry, Sheila Jackson Lee.
This is the first oversight hearing we have had in the Justice Department in almost 15 months. You did not have a confirmation hearing, and you have not yet appeared for an oversight hearing. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Congresswoman, I am the acting
Yes or
Attorney
no?
General.
Have you appeared before an oversight hearing in the Congress?
Congresswoman, I have not.
It has been 10 years.
Before.
Witness will answer the question as asked, please.
As the chairman would have found out had he shut his pie hole and listened to what Mr. Whitaker was saying, he clearly said, I have not been here before.
Have you appeared before an oversight hearing in the Congress?
Congresswoman, I have not.
It has been 10 years.
Before.
Witness will answer the question as asked, please.
What kind of moron does not understand that as an answer? Oh, I know what kind of moron. A moron with a D before their name in the rolls of Congress.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, if the parliamentary inquiry, if he feels that a yes or no is appropriate, he'll answer in a yes or no. If he does not feel it's appropriate, he should be able to answer in the appropriate, as many Democrat administration officials have done before this committee before. That is unreal.
Collins does a phenomenal job here of pointing out the hypocrisy of the Democrats. They've had their people give explanations and not be pinholed into just giving yes or no answers. and he goes to give examples of Holder and others. But of course, the Democrats we know are hypocrites and without principles. So it's not even shame. These people are just, I really question whether they have any sort of morals or soul even sometimes. I know they do, but it's sometimes very questionable how disgusting they really are.
Member has only 5 minutes, and if
we've just discovered that we have
wants a yes or no answer, she's entitled to it. I will not allow the witness to stall and waste members' time. The
Where
witness
were
will
you
answer
when
the
Ms.
question.
Lynch and Mr. Holder were here?
For those with short memories, Lynch and Holder, when questioned on the hearings, gave very elaborate answers that sometimes were not even answers to the actual questions being asked. And the Democrats had no problem with that. But of course, that's just another example. Make that example 1,374,412 of the hypocrisy of the Democrat Party.
Mr. Chairman, may I have my time restored? I think it was at 4 minutes.
Yes, you may.
Thank you. Again, Mr. Attorney General, the question is, did you have a confirmation hearing, and has it been more than 10 years since you testified before Congress?
Congresswoman,
Can the clock be restored?
It was. I'm sorry, what was your, I don't know if your time's been restored or not.
Mr. Attorney General, we're not joking here, and your humor is not acceptable.
Oh man, that was great. Bravo, Mr. Whitaker, bravo. Man, I cannot stand Sheila Jackson Lee and all the other Democrats and their condescending manner in which they talk down to Mr. Whitaker and anyone. They have this true air of elitism, and they're nothing but disgusting swamp creatures.
Now, you are here because we have a constitutional duty to ask questions, and the Congress has the right to establish government rules. The rules are that you are here. So I need to ask the question, and I need to have my time restored so that you can behave appropriately. I will behave appropriately as a member of the Judiciary Committee.
Now remember, this is a House Judiciary Committee oversight hearing. They're treating it like it's something more grand than that. And once again, I just want to share this little bit of what Congressman Collins had to say about it. I think he does a brilliant job showing how these, I don't want to call them low level, but how these congressmen are really overstepping their boundaries and making this bigger than what it needs to be. He says it best, and I think it's very clear, especially when it's coming from a fellow congressman, a fellow member of the House of Representatives. He reminds them of their duties and their separation of power as far as what is within their scope and what's within the scope of senators in the Senate.
Then I want to remind everyone that this is not the Senate. If my friends on the other side of the aisle of this committee wanted to do a confirmation hearing, they just ought to set it up front. And if they want to do a confirmation hearing on senators, run for Senate. This is not a confirmation hearing. This is a Department of Justice oversight hearing. Supposedly, oops, I'm sorry. Back to theatrics again. The curtain opened up and we found out what was really going on. No, we want to damage the president. We want to talk about your private conversations.
Yes, Sheila Jackson Lee, this is not a Senate confirmation hearing, and you are not a senator.
I'm asked a question. Did you have a confirmation hearing, and have you not yet appeared for an oversight hearing?
Congresswoman, I am an acting Attorney General. I have been appointed according to the Vacancies Reform Act, and I have never appeared in front of Congress for any hearing, even when I was United States Attorney.
I'm asked for a yes or no answer. Is that?
My gosh, woman, how much more clear could he have been? He's never been before a Congress. He's never had a congressional hearing. But no, Sheila Jackson Lee wants to get a yes or no answer, and here's why. So when they send out the transcript, when the Mockingbird media, fake news press, goes and reports on it, they can make a big deal out of it. Go, Sheila Jackson Lee, have you ever been before a hearing, a confirmation hearing? No. And then they can spin that and like, look, this guy is acting AG and he's never even been confirmed. That is because he was put in as acting attorney general under the Vacancies Act, which does not require him to have a confirmation hearing. They know that, and that's why they want to pin him to a yes or no answer. But he's not playing their game. Mr. Trump, please keep Mr. Whitaker on board at the DOJ. We need guys like him, women like him, that are going to stand up to these demonic, dingy, dirty Democrat demons.
Yep. And so you've never appeared. Let me quickly ask a question. Prior to the firing of former Attorney General Jeff Sessions, did you discuss or share your private opinions of the special counsel investigation with the Chief of Staff, Trump family members, and others? Yes or no?
As I previously answered, Congresswoman.
Yes or no, sir?
As I previously answered, Congresswoman, I have not discussed.
Yes or no?
As I previously answered, Congresswoman, I have not discussed.
And since you're appointed acting Attorney General, did you discuss or share your private opinions with the special counsel?
Again, the special counsel's investigation is an ongoing investigation, and I have nothing more to say than what I've already said.
So you are denying reports that you shared many one-on-one calls with President Trump and his then Chief of Staff, John Kelly, when Jeff Sessions was still Attorney General?
Again, Congressman, is there someone that provides you the basis for that question, or is that an anonymously sourced
I am asking
article?
the question, sir. Answer the question, yes or no.
Could you repeat the question, please?
So you are denying the reports that you shared many one-on-one calls with President Trump and then his Chief of Staff, John Kelly? Are you denying that, yes or no?
Congresswoman, as I've mentioned several times today in my opening statement and otherwise,
yes or no?
I'm not talking about the conversations that I've had with the President of the United States or his senior staff.
So that is a no?
I don't think you can assume anything from that.
And this, my fellow patriots, and you, Mr. Donald Trump, if you're listening to this, is why I think Matt Whitaker should be your permanent AG, or should have been your permanent AG pick. And why he's acting as AG anyway, why he was U.S. Attorney. He doesn't fall for these tricks. She is a lightweight going against a heavyweight litigator and lawyer, and he's not falling for her tricks, and he's not going to be pinholed the way she wants him to be. I love that. He didn't let her interpret his answer as a yes or no and left it open and purposely vague.
Well, let me just pursue on my line of questioning. Since the investigation secured numerous indictments,
mostly having to do with process crimes, and not one of them having to do with anything even remotely close to Russian collusion by Trump and the Trump campaign.
I would like to pursue the line of questioning with respect to your understanding of the Mueller investigation and the review that you've given. Have you given an extensive review?
Congresswoman, I have been briefed on the special counsel's investigation.
Do you believe the involvement of the hostile foreign entities interfering with the elections is more severe than the false representation of voter fraud in elections?
That was a dramatic and dirty Democrat trick. Do you notice what she did there? I see what you did there, Sheila Jackson Lee. She made it sound like it's a fact that there was Russian collusion or foreign interference with our elections, yet all the voter fraud that's happening in Florida, Texas, Arizona, and California is false. Do you see what she did there? Sneaky little devil woman you. But we're not falling for it, and neither is our hero, Mr. Clean, Matt Whitaker. Folks, I am truly humbled, tickled pink, and my ego does get a little boost when you guys repeatedly tell me, BCP, you should run for office. And for those of you that have been on the channel for a while, I've talked about my almost potential run for office once here in California, and how I was backed by my county, all the county leadership of the Republican Party wanted me to run. I was a shoo-in. but I could not be in politics because look at Mr. Stoic, patient Matt Whitaker. I consider myself a pretty patient guy, but I could not put up with these minions asking me questions and trying to pinhole me into their traps, knowing that these people have it out for me. They don't have out the interest of America. It's not a matter of these Democrats having a different idea, but we have the same vision or the same goal, the betterment of America and what's good for the American citizens. No, these people are out for themselves. They're out to cover their heinous and perverse crimes that they commit with impunity, and they're out to make money. It's money, power, and crime for these people. And I could not deal with them on a daily basis without losing my patience or worse. Bravo, Mr. Whitaker, for your patience and being so astute.
Do you believe that a foreign interference with the elections is more severe?
Congresswoman, I think foreign interference in our election system in the United States is a very serious and ongoing concern. I also believe that voter fraud is a serious concern.
That's a brilliant technique in debate, in leadership, in negotiating, that you concede a point to your opponent that doesn't hurt your argument, but you also assert your opinion. So I heard nothing, he didn't really say anything. He said, hey, it's an ongoing concern, but he also said that voter fraud is also something very serious. In other words, that's a valid concern, unlike Sheila Jackson Lee trying to dismiss it as something as false or fabricated.
After you left office, you pursued a series of other political offices, one of which was the United States Senate. Yes or no, if during the pursuit of that office, a hostile foreign power contacted you to offer dirt on your opponent, which at the same time included other candidates such as Steve King and now Senator Joni Ernst, would you have contacted the FBI?
Jackson Lee shows here why she is out of her league. She is a lightweight in comparison to Mr. Clean. First of all, she's reading a statement that supposedly she wrote herself, or a series of questions that she wrote herself, and she mispronounces it. I know it's splitting hairs, but it is annoying when someone is supposedly a congressperson sitting on a judiciary committee overseeing the Attorney General of the United States and seems to portray an IQ that is not impressive. Let's just put it that way. And then she uses a hypothetical, and using a hypothetical in an argument is very weak because it's not based on facts or actually anything historical accurate, and later on you can poke holes in it because it's a hypothetical. And third, she's bringing up his failed Senate bid. I don't know if that's to shame him, or she's gonna try to make a point here about collusion and what he would do. But once again, this is not an oversight question. This is a question of his character, and that is not within the scope of what they're supposed to be doing here.
Congresswoman, I'm not here to
yes
address hypothetical questions, and I'm here for an oversight hearing. I don't believe, I was very unsuccessful in my Senate campaign. You have the responsibility of answering the question. Would you have contacted the FBI if you were asked to take dirt on your opponents? Congresswoman, if I was contacted by a foreign national or a foreign country when I was a candidate for the United States Senate, I would have most likely reached out to the FBI, but it didn't happen, so it's hard for me to answer your hypothetical question.
With respect to...
How rude. She didn't even let him finish his answer. That is a person that doesn't really care about your answer. They just want to get in their talking point. Perfect example here in this exchange. She doesn't care of his answer. If it's not what she wants, it's not going to serve her purpose or work toward the narrative that that she and the deep state and the dirty Dems want to be out there, then they'll just cut you off. Rude, rude, rude.
Civil rights. You have not, under your jurisdiction, prosecuted one voting rights case. Is that correct?
The gentlelady has expired. The witness may answer the question.
There's something coming down the pike, folks, where the Democrats are going to be exposed for shenanigans when it comes to elections and votes. Because Ms. Jackson Lee seems very preoccupied with this subject and his having investigated his positions on civil rights and his experience. There's something coming down the pike, folks. Keep your ears and eyes open.
Congresswoman, just so I have a complete answer on this, we'll follow up in writing as to the voting rights cases that we've done.
Well said and well played, Mr. Whitaker. And again, to our duly elected and beloved President Donald Trump, if you happen to be listening to this, please keep Matt Whitaker on board at DOJ with a very prominent position, because he's the kind of bulldog that we want to see assist you in draining the swamp. This is Black Conservative Patriot. God bless America. God bless you, my fellow patriot, and God bless Matt Whitaker and our stable genius, Donald Trump.
Thanks for joining us on the Black Conservative Patriot channel. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notifications bell so you don't miss a thing.